What is recovery? How do you know when you are recovered? What does fully recovered even mean? This is something that felt a little ambiguous for me for most of the journey. That's because it really isn't so tangibly defined, as much as we may expect it to be. And it means something different to everyone. So I'm going to talk about what recovery means to me, and you can take what you want from it. If something I say doesn't serve you in your journey, just let it flow in and out of your other ear. You have that choice, and I'm just one voice, and I'm not your defining voice. You are. My main motivation for arriving at DNRS and using it as part of my healing journey was because I saw limbic system impairment and symptoms as a huge roadblock in my life. I oriented my brain retraining towards getting rid of the symptoms in order for me to be able to do the things that I wanted to do in life. One of my main motivations for retraining was the desire to get married and have a family. That was sort of my vision of recovery initially, to have the capacity to do that and to live happily ever after, basically. This concept was constructed from a more limbic and disempowered place because it put external constraints on my recovery. Only will I be if. The problem with this as primary motivation is that it can fuel a fixed mindset and reinforce beliefs of not being enough until. Or, I am only recovered when I have these things. I am not recovered if I do not. I've witnessed this pedestal that the word recovery often sits upon that can seem so far out of reach, even in the midst of so many successes. When I started this journey, I saw recovery to mean the total absence of symptoms. That was what defined it initially, and it was the vision that I held on to for most of my journey. However, something changed in me along the way, something I wasn't at all expecting or aware of even needing. It was what was missing in all the other stuff that I tried to do to heal in the past, and why there wasn't more lasting change before. What I experienced was a paradigm shift in mindset along the way. Exactly when is not something I can directly pinpoint, but I recognized it in 2020 in my coping with the pandemic. Recovery, to me, is not really about the relief in symptoms, although that is a definite perk when one improves their vagal tone and vagal brake function and achieves more nervous system regulation. Recovery to me actually becomes about a core level shift in belief. The belief in self and knowing or feeling that you're not completely helpless or powerless. I had lost that, and initially I felt it was the symptoms that took it away. But through exploring the layers, I saw that it ran much deeper than that. I don't think it was a part of me that really started to feel more self-empowerment until brain retraining. This journey has been more about establishing that sense of self than it has been about focusing on or fixing symptoms or conditions. In fact, it can be counterproductive to hold the focus there. It can seem a little counterintuitive, but healing happens when we grow the other areas of ourselves and we integrate into them more fully. Movement of thought patterns towards acceptance and safety support the body following suit by introducing neurochemistry that helps to shut down the stress response and activate networks for growth and healing. You're not directly thinking yourself out of symptoms, but you're guiding your thoughts to help support the creation of an environment that then supports the body's innate ability to heal. The symptoms leave as a result of that work and establishing more nervous system regulation. Your body is better able to handle stress and more innately regulate or initiate relaxation on its own. That said, this doesn't mean that you never ever enter a sympathetic state again in your life. That's an entirely necessary system in the body. It's not bad, just as the limbic system isn't bad, or an unwanted part of the brain. Everything is a system, working together for survival, but sometimes experience can disrupt or maladapt optimal functioning. Brain retraining is a modality for creating more optimization, and recovery as it relates to the nervous system means that your body can effectively regulate in and out of the nervous system states. Your body is better able to manage its allostatic load, or the cumulative burden of chronic stress and life events. I won't go into details on this in the context of this particular call because I only have a limited amount of time to cover everything that I hope to here today, but in 2020, I did a workshop with Stephen Porges and Deb Dana on polyvagal theory to gain a better understanding of nervous system function beyond the duality that DNRS offered with sympathetic versus parasympathetic nervous systems. Polyvagal theory offers further understanding on the design of the nervous system and the nuances of it as it relates to our connections with others, as well as offering more information on the freeze response. There are others in the community also teaching this work, and it's what Module 1 in my upcoming neuroplasticity course focuses on. Recovery, to me, clarifies the relationship with our nervous systems. In my life before brain retraining, I felt like my body was speaking a completely different language from me. I felt like I was at war with it, and it was something I was trapped in or wanted to escape from. This all speaks to being in a state of sympathetic overactivity or stuck in fight or flight. Brain retraining helped me learn the language of my nervous system, seeing the symptoms as messengers for restoration, seeing them as signs from my body requesting me to create more conscious attempts for restoration. Restoration could mean engaging in a round or other restorative practice, but it could also mean seeking support, establishing boundaries, communicating needs, prioritizing myself, saying no to things, all of these things that I never really did before brain retraining, and that my body ultimately overcompensated for in overfiring for its protection. Recovery to me means that you have a clear awareness of when fear is in the driver's seat and when you're following your true, authentic needs. It's gaining the discernment to know when the amygdala has taken the reins. It's not that it never happens. All feelings are part of the human experience, and it's normal for fear to sometimes occur. The difference in recovery is that you don't settle and take up residence in that state. You don't live life from there. You recognize and support the shift in getting back out there. That's why I like to think of the healing journey as an upward spiral. There's no going backwards to the place that you started. You're still going in a forward motion, and you may repeat aspects of lessons or experiences in cycles. But the cycles get shorter because you have all this collective knowledge from the new neural networks and pathways that have grown since then. It can be like an integration of past and present to reconcile old imprinting. I announced my recovery in the middle point of 2020. If you read my pre-talk documents, you know that there have been opportunities in my life since then that have been theoretically bigger than a lot of my perfect storms. Brain retraining has helped me build the capacity to hold and navigate through these times and to even resolve a lot of the past imprinting. Instead, now there is a force in me that's risen through this process, maybe like the image of a phoenix rising from the ashes, where I don't stay stuck in the frame of view that everything is happening to me, or that I have no choices, or I'm completely helpless. I'm still shedding out of the beliefs and narratives that were constructed from a victim mindset, shedding my allegiance to them through the cycles that continue upward. What is the main difference now is that I see the potential of growth in challenges. I see choice, and I see ways to support myself when needed. I am what has changed regardless of what my life is doing. The tools are what have made the difference. The emotional layers, the deeply rooted belief systems that are part of the neurochemistry that keeps the sympathetic nervous system stuck, that acts as fuel to the symptoms. That's where the power is, and that's where the power can be reclaimed in this journey. In the process of this journey, in that deeper inner work, you get to leave behind the mindset that you're simply a victim of your experiences, and instead both recognize and tap into your ability to create experiences that reshape your life. It's about stepping into your power elsewhere, not remaining powerless to the symptoms. It's the return to self and shedding of layers that create an illusion of protection, and instead establishing that base of safety and home from within. After being at war with myself and my body for so long, this journey has been about cultivating a more peaceful environment within, one that supports self-regulation and also utilizes opportunities for co-regulation. And that's what has helped me to heal the symptoms, and it continues to heal the pathways acquired from times of survival. I've learned how to communicate and work with my nervous system now, how to support and improve vagal tone in a way where things are more automated now. This is recovery, and even then, it's not finite. It's an ongoing effort, a renewed relationship with the self. It's building a sense of home in yourself. What's happening in the outside world is less of the focus. It's more of what you embody as you move through it. The reward is the life that you can create out of this mindset. You're no longer trapped or defined by your past experiences. The experiences become nutrient-rich soil to grow and harvest from. This process in brain retraining was really the first time in my life where I acknowledged and tended to my needs and wellness as a priority, where I started declaring boundaries for myself, where I started to feel more empowered and more capable. It gave me a blueprint for practicing more sustainable self-care, rather than having things build to catastrophic levels inside of me and then trying to fix them at that level. It allowed me to better manage my allostatic load.